Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're doing the What's Next on Dmitry Bivol, the reigning and undefeated WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, and the likely 2022's fighter of the year in boxing. Bivol was coming off of that win over Canelo back in May, where he retained his title, and he was making a mandatory defense against undefeated Gilberto Ramirez. And, you know, Ramirez being the former world champion at 168, there was a lot of people that were looking forward to this fight. It was a very good, interesting matchup. Probably your number 2 and 3 light heavyweight in the world, respectively. And, you know, Dmitry Bivol wanted to leave no doubt. Whether he fights Canelo next or not, he wants undisputed at 175, and he wanted to put everybody on notice more than he did against Canelo, and he walked out of there with a very clean 12-round unanimous decision win, a very good performance as he retained his world title. So now the big question is, what's next for Dmitry Bivol? Well, I really think there's only 2 options on the table. We'll run through the top 10 too, just in case, but for me, there's 2 options. One, the Canelo rematch. That was looking a little more bleak than normal, because Canelo, after the Triple G fight, said he was having surgery, I believe, on his hand, and then he might be out until September of next year. Well, Canelo just came out the other day, and he said that you know, the hand is healing well, the surgery went well, and that he's planning on a May return against Dmitry Bivol. So, you know, I mean, if that's the case, I think Bivol, I know the showdown with Beterbiev for undisputed is there, but man, I think Bivol should really, he'd be dumb to not take a rematch with Canelo, especially after the way he looked against Gilberto Ramirez and the way he beat Canelo the first time. I absolutely think he's coming in as a favorite. I'm not sure Canelo can beat him. I'm really not sure Canelo beats him. So, you know, I like Dmitry Bivol, and I think he'd be dumb to not take a rematch with Canelo prior to a showdown with Beterbiev that will probably still be there in the second half of the year. But, you know, definitely, you know, he's got that option with Canelo potentially. But if that doesn't happen, we'll start running through the top 10. The other option is Arthur Beterbiev for undisputed. I mean, to me, there's really no other options that make sense. The WBC, first off, Bivol is not in mandatory form right now. He's not. He's in optional mode now. He defeated his mandatory in Gilberto Ramirez. That's the WBA belt. The WBO title, Beterbiev holds all 3 other belts. The WBO title, he's making that mandatory in January. Beterbiev is against Anthony Yarde of the United Kingdom. Not the easiest task, but most people, myself included, feel Beterbiev's going to get through that one and stay champion. Then you got the IBF, and you also have the WBC. Now, he hasn't made an IBF mandatory in, since, I think, March of 2021 when he beat Adam Dines, but there is no mandatory right now. John Pascal is fighting somebody else to determine the mandatory in the IBF right now. So I don't think the IBF is going to grind Beterbiev right away to make that defense. So that gives them a pass. And then the WBC said that they are going to hold off on ordering Callum Smith in a mandatory fight with Beterbiev in order for Beterbiev and Bivol to explore undisputed against each other. So I really believe that if Canelo does not happen in May for Bivol, then it's got to be Beterbiev in May for Bivol. I think undisputed has to happen because there's really no other time for it to go down if it doesn't happen in May. So I really believe that if Bivol does not fight Canelo, he will fight Beterbiev for undisputed in the spring. We'll see what happens though, or in the early summer, because Beterbiev's fighting in January. But any other options, a rematch with Gilberto Ramirez makes no sense. Bivol dominated dominated the fight. Callum Smith, Callum Smith's a WBC mandatory. He's going to be in line to fight them anyways. So again, if it's not Canelo or Beterbiev, maybe Callum Smith makes sense, but does Callum Smith, does he see himself beating Bivol more or Beterbiev? You know, I really think he's going to wait for a Beterbiev showdown. Joe Smith Jr., he already beat Joe Smith, and Joe Smith's coming off of a knockout loss to Beterbiev. There'd be no point. Bivol against Anthony Yard. Well, if Anthony Yard upsets Arthur Beterbiev to become the unified light heavyweight champ, then and Bivol doesn't fight Canelo, I absolutely could see Bivol and Anthony Yard fighting to unify belts for undisputed. So, and again, even though Anthony Yard is a sizable underdog going into that fight with Beterbiev, don't count that dude out. He's got real pop. He's a solid fighter, and the dude does really know how to hurt. And Beterbiev has been hurt before, so don't rule out Anthony Yard as a potential upset. Right there against Beterbiev. Then Jean Pascal. He's already defeated Pascal, and Pascal's fighting for the IBS mandatory anyways right now, so really don't see that one. Wouldn't make sense. Former world title challenger Marcus Brown. I mean, he lost to Beterbiev last year. He got stopped against him. Wouldn't make sense for Bivol to fight him. Yunieski Gonzalez, another guy that just does not make sense for Beterbiev to fight. I mean, for Bivol to fight him. Actually, I think Gonzalez just lost again, I believe. So I might be a little off there. And then Joshua Buatsi. If for some reason he cannot get Canelo or Beterbiev in the ring in the spring, I think Joshua Buatsi is probably his next opponent, because they're both with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and it's a fight. It's the fight that Bivol wanted anyways over the Gilberto Ramirez fight, but the WBA ordered the fight with Ramirez. So I think Bivol, though, I really think it's probably going to be Canelo as long as Canelo's healthy. Probably going to be Canelo in May. And if not, it's probably going to be, you're probably going to see him and Beterbiev lock horns maybe in May or June, depending on how Beterbiev looks against what's his name, how Beterbiev looks against Anthony Yard. You know, if he makes quick work of Anthony Yard, gets him out of there, and Canelo doesn't fight Bivol, shit, you could see, Beterbiev and fucking Dmitry Bivol meeting in May. But if it's a grinder, then it might get pushed back a little more. So maybe Bivol considers a stay busy fight with Joshua Buatsi ahead of Summer Showdown for undisputed with Beterbiev. So it just really is dependent on Canelo right now, and it really is dependent on if Bivol wants to go after undisputed next or not. So I really think it's the more likelihood is that we're going to see Canelo versus Bivol too. But if we don't, it's going to be Bivol versus Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. So we'll see what happens, but that's what I got. That's the what's next on the undefeated WBA light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol, following his dominant 12-round unanimous decision over Gilberto Ramirez, as he locked himself up as the fighter of the year in 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.